Question 1. Explain why a carbon tetrafluoride molecule has a polar bond but does not have an overall dipole. Polar bond is basically due to the difference in electronegativity. Fluorine is delta minus and carbon is delta plus because fluorine is more electronegative than carbon. And the structure itself is symmetrical and tetrahedral. The overall direction of the electron, the one goes up and the other one goes down, so they cancel each other out. One goes to the left and the other goes to the right, so they cancel each other out. So it's this cancellation that led to non-polarity of the compound. So what we need to say is that it's symmetrical and tetrahedral. The dipole acts in opposite direction and cancel out. Part B. Explain why a small proportion of a molecule in water has a relative molecular mass of 20. Well, water is H2O, oxygen is 16, 18, hydrogen is 1, 1, and 1, 1. And therefore, when you add them together, the top here, that's the mass, they add up to 18 grams per mole. But isotope of oxygen and hydrogen are in small amounts. Oxygen can be 18.8 rather than 16.8. And hydrogen can be 2.1, that's deuterium, and 3.1. These are the isotope of hydrogen. So you could have 2 deuterium oxide, that's another water. So that would be 2 plus 2, that's 4. 4 plus 16, that's 16, and that's 20. Or you could have oxygen isotope, which is 18. So 18 plus 1 plus 1, that would be H2O, and that gives 20. Question C. What is the partial pressure of O2 in Pascal in a gas mixture containing 21% oxygen by volume and with a total pressure of 1 times 10 to the power 5 Pascal? So partial pressure of oxygen in this case is mole fraction times the total pressure. And the mole fraction by volume is 21%. So that would be 0.21, that's 21 divided by 100 times the total pressure. And that gave you 2.1 times 10 to the power 4. So the answer is 2.1 times 10 to the power 4. D. What mass of carbon dioxide in grams is formed by the complete combustion of 42 meter cube measured at room temperature and pressure of propane? Propane is C3H8, and you're burning in oxygen, you get carbon dioxide and water, and then because you've got 8 hydrogen, water is H2O, so you have to multiply 2 by 4 to get it 8. And you got 3 carbon, so you put 3 carbon there. Then you add up the total number of oxygen here, that's 3 times 2, 6, 4 times 1, that's 4, 6 plus 4 is 10, so you do 10 over 2, and that's 5. That's how you balance the equation. The ratio here, stoichiometric ratio, is 1 to 3. We need to find the mole of C3H8 because we're told the volume. So 42 meter cube is equal to 42 times 10 to the power 3 decimeter cube, which is 42 times 1000, and that's 42,000 decimeter cube. So it's important to be able to convert the meter cube to decimeter cube. We know that 24 decimeter cube will give us 1 mole. Divide 24 by 24, you get 1 decimeter cube. That will be 1 over 24. You divide both sides by 24. And you need to multiply 1 by 42,000 to get 42 decimeter cube. You have to multiply that one by 42,000. And so you're going to get 42,000 over 24 mole. So 42,000 decimeter cube will give you 42,000 over 24 mole. If that's the case, C3H8 mole is 42,000 over 24, which is 1750 mole. Carbon dioxide, this is ratio 1 to 3. So for carbon dioxide, the mole of carbon dioxide is going to be that times 3 because of the ratio. And that will be 5250. To find the mass of carbon dioxide, you just do mole times relative molecular mass. Carbon dioxide is, you go 2 oxygen, that's 16 times 2, that's 32, plus 12, that's 44. So the relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. And you times it by the mole. And therefore you're going to get 2.31 times 10 to the power 5. grams. And that will be your answer. E. A reaction is first order with respect to H+. At a pH of 1, the initial concentration, the initial rate is 2.4 times 10 to the power minus 3 mole per decimeter cube per second. What is the initial rate at a pH of 3? Well, what that meant is rate is directly proportional to concentration to power 1 because it's a first order. Rate is directly proportional to concentration to power 1, which implies that rate equals K times concentration to power 1. And then I just divide both sides by C, so rate over concentration equals K. So I have a situation where the rate of a pH 1, the rate of a pH 1 has a concentration of C1, and the rate of a pH 3 has a concentration of C3. So what do we mean by concentration of C1? Well, pH of 1, concentration is 10 to the power minus 1. pH of 2, concentration is 10 to the power minus 2. pH of 3, concentration is 10 to the power minus 3. So what I'm going to do now is, when the rate is 1, the rate of pH 1 is 2.4 times 10 to the power minus 3. Concentration of H plus 1 is 10 to the power minus 1. We need to find the rate at a pH 3. We know the concentration at a pH 3 is 10 to the power minus 3. So we want to find that. Move that over there. So you're going to get R1 times C3 over C1. Just move that over there. You're going to get R1 times C3 over C1 equals R3. We know what R1 is, 2.4 times 10 to the power minus 3 times C3, which is 10 to the power minus 3, divided by 10 to the power minus 1. You add the power when you have the same base. That will be 10 to the power minus 6 over 10 to the power minus 1. If you're dividing the same base, you subtract the power. That will be minus 6 minus minus 1 is minus 6 plus 1. That will be minus 5. So the answer is 2.4 times 10 to the power minus 5. Or you can plug that into your calculator and you get that. F. What is the number of oxygen atoms in 4.26 grams of P2O5? To know the number of oxygen atoms, we need to find a mole of oxygen atom. Mole of P2O5 is 4.25 divided by the relative molecular mass of P2O5, which is 142, and that gives you 0.03. Now, to find out how many P2 is in there, because there are 2 of them, you do 0.03 times 2 to find out how many oxygen atoms are there. Because there are 5 of them, you do 0.03 times 5, and that's 0.15, because this is what we're interested in. So 1 mole in an atom, 1 mole gives 6.023 times 10 to the power 23, Avogadro's number. 0.15 mole will give us 0.15 times 6.023 times 10 to the power 23, and that will give us 9.03 times 10 to the power 22.